Wah, pengen tahu siapa yang sudah ada di sini? Wait. Gue mau cek dulu. Cek connection. Bentar ya. Gue atur dulu biar enak lihatnya. Oke. Halo semuanya. Wah. Nggak lagi batuk. Ya, jadi selamat datang di Magic Corner. Di sini adalah ajang buat para pesulap ataupun juga orang awam yang pengen tahu lebih dalam tentang dunia sulap. Dan kali ini bintang tamunya adalah DMC atau Drummond Money Count. Jadi dia, kalau misalnya ada yang belum tahu DMC siapa, nanti gue akan putar videonya siapa dia. Dan gue kenal sama dia itu tahun 2017. Jadi dulu malah gue sempat yang amazed, bisa dibilang suka sama karya-karya dia pada saat dia punya acara namanya Beyond Magic. Jadi gue benar-benar yang ngerasa, wah gila ini orang keren banget, karena dia bisa image-nya berbeda dari kebanyakan pesulap. Itu kan kalau misalnya pesulap itu misterius, pesulap itu terkadang terlihat benar-benar kayak ya kita lihatnya kayak Chris Angel atau David Blaine, itu karakternya berbeda. Dia di sini kalau gue lihat karakternya lebih ke bangsawan. Nah, terus kemana-mana pakai jas. Apa nggak sumo ya? Itu nanti kita tanyain ke dia ya. Nah, gue mau halo dulu sama para teman-teman di sini. Weh, ada Robi Konstantin. Hey, Robi Konstantin, pemenang The Great Magician. Tapi sekarang namanya jadi ganti sebentar, jadi Robi Quarantine. Tuh. Terus Muhammad Nur, apa nih? Om, dead drop di YouTube. Mungkin nggak diulang kembali, tapi berhasil. Waktu di Cina itu videonya nggak ada. Sebenarnya ada, kalau misalnya lo lihat di link di YouTube gue itu ada, videonya ada. Nanti coba search saja di channel ini, itu ada di Magic Performance kalau nggak salah, ada videonya ada. Terus Rich Magic, halo Rich Magic, mantap, join. Siapa lagi nih? Ada, di sini siapa sih, ada yang tahu DMC itu siapa nggak? Kalau misalnya ada yang belum tahu, nanti gue akan coba puterin videonya. Ya, gue akan coba, ntar ya, di sini gue lagi belajar mengoperasi semuanya sendirian. Oke, sambil itu ya, ini ada yang nanya, ada yang nanya Nyai mana, Nyai lagi ada di atas. Terus, I have request for you, Pak Dem and DMC. Ya, ditulis aja Ayub Adi, ditulis aja, nanti semoga dibaca. Nanti ditulisnya pada saat gue bilang, oke sekarang boleh tanya, supaya gue bisa langsung lihat. Ada Gorontalo, halo dari Gorontalo. Terus dari, Andre Limantara sudah join, mantap. Nanda, Darius Drew, yes, Darius Drew. Ini beneran di MC? Enggak kayaknya. Iyalah beneran ya, kali gue bohong. Gue nggak pernah bohong. Di sulap aja gue jujur. Asik. Bayu Krisapati, anak-anak I hate silent reader nih. Ini anak-anak I hate kayaknya harus di ini nanti abis ini langsung harus diseleksi lagi nih, karena pada pasif semua, nggak seru. Yang pasif nanti kita keluarin aja ya. Ada yang nanya dia dari negara mana? Nanti kita tanya. Bang Demian bakal collab sama DMC? Pertanyaan bagus, gue tulis dulu ya. Nanti kita akan cek. Oke, sebentar. Si DMC minta di email aja katanya. Wait. Sebentar ya, sebentar guys. Wait. Gue mau forward linknya dulu. Yes. Oke, tadi apa pertanyaannya? Oh, apakah akan collab? Oh ya, benar. Gue catat nih. Gue ada catat pertanyaan-pertanyaan. Gue catat lagi. Apakah akan collab? Uh, Oke, tanyain. Terus ada yang nanya lagi, DMC jago main kartu, Pak. Skillnya setan. Skillnya setan. Nanti kita minta gimana ya? Kita minta gimana? Kita coba. Siapa tahu dia mau. Tapi yang pertama gue ada lagi nih. Oke, sebelum gitu, buat di sini pasti juga ada yang pesulap dan juga ada yang non pesulap. Pasti ada. Nah, gue kasih tahu dulu nih, buat kalian yang non pesulap, yang bingung siapa sih ini si DMC ini tuh siapa gitu loh. Ini orang dari mana? Nah, terus dia tuh pernah ngapain aja, terus dia ya banyak pertanyaan lah, terus kenapa Pak Demian undang gitu. Inilah DMC. Kita langsung play. Ya, audionya tidak keluar lagi, saudara-saudara. Oh, ternyata di mute.
With a spoon, David Blaine raised the world of illusion to a new dimension. Magic is more than just a trick.
And DMC is more than just a magician.
Visualize it.
His devoted studies and commitment have now led to DMC being one of the most successful private working magicians in the world today. Official magician of choice to royalty, Hollywood icons, and international sports stars. Now DMC returns to show magic
Is more than just a trick.
unbelievable. Beyond Magic with DMC.
Ya, itu dia DMC pada saat acara dia pertama kali yang ada di National Geographic Channel. Dan terus itu kalau nggak salah sampai beberapa season, gue lupa. Tapi lumayan cukup banyak banget episodenya. Makanya disitulah gue mulai ngefans sama dia. Maksudnya gila, gue suka nih sama karakter ini orang. Setelah itu nggak nyangka tahun 2017 gue ketemu sama dia. Kita ngobrol banyak, kita ngabisin waktu banyak juga, terus sempetin waktu ngobrol waktu itu, dan gue ngeliat dia orang yang unik gitu. Dia percaya atau enggak, pada saat gue ketemu dia ada di Magic Live namanya, itu adalah acara annual pesulap tahunan, jadi semua pesulap kumpul, sedunia kumpul di acara situ. Gue ketemu dia dan dia pakai jas, jadi beneran dia apa yang lo lihat dia di TV ya sama gitu. Terus akhirnya dia pas pada saat itu dia nggak cerita kalau dia lagi mengerjakan sesuatu. Jadi di 2019 keluarlah dia rilis acara dia yang terbaru. Ya, itulah DMC. Gua itu lagi ya. Oke. Jadi itu dia. Kalau misalnya kalian mau lihat performance dia seperti apa sekarang ini, ada di Netflix. Namanya Dead by Magic. So you should watch because it's very very good show, especially when you are at home. Kalau di rumah nggak ngapa-ngapain, watch Netflix. In this quarantine, this is probably the perfect thing to do, watching DMC. Gitu. Udah pada nggak sabar belum? Apa kita langsung panggil aja DMC-nya? Kita coba lihat ya, siapa ya? Kalau tanya pakai bahasa apa, Pak? Pakai bahasa Inggris dong, pakai bahasa Jawa. Tuh. Terus Rich Magic, tanya dong Pak, bagaimana kesannya saat syuting Indonesia? Oke, emang dia pulang ke Indonesia ya? Gue tanyain ya, gue tulis dulu ya. Terus, Bang, ntar pakai bahasa, oh ya tadi udah. Feelingnya dapat banget tegang. Oh. Udah, kita langsung undang aja ya. Let's invite him. I'm gonna chat him. Oke. Kita undang. Suara gue di sini ya, dengeran nggak sih? Nanti kalau misalnya ada yang mau nanya, langsung tanya aja ya. semoga bisa langsung gue jawab sambil nunggu ya. Oke, artiin Pak. Ya nanti gue artiin ya, gue akan artiin pelan-pelan ya. Ntar gue akan artiin. Jadi habis setiap kali nanya jawabannya apa, gue coba artiin. Gue coba. Semoga nggak panjang ya. Karena kalau misalnya kayak kemarin gue sama Eric Chen keasikan gitu loh, keasikan ngomong. Wah ini dia. Tes. Whoa! Hey, bro.
There it is.
Yeah.
Captain
Hey, how are
Demian.
you? Yes.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Hey, man, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's 2017. Last time we met.
LA, right?
LA,
yeah, LA,
yes.
Vegas. Yeah. With Jeremy.
And with
Mr.
Jeremy, and then we met in the Magic Live, and then after that if I'm mistaken, it's the day before I got home. It's the day before I fly home.
Right.
I met you, and we hang out for a coffee with Jeremy.
Yeah.
So,
how are you? How's everything?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing nothing. Just staying at home.
How's
And
it been?
you?
So you've been on lockdown for a long time.
I've been at home probably like 30 days already now.
Okay.
And you?
Yeah, about this. What's it? Maybe 3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
Just focus time, Zen time.
Woosah. Yeah.
Woosah. Lots of woosah. Yeah, it's time to focus, time to think, time to reflect. You know, it's just trying to find whatever you can. Trying to find that silver lining. There's nothing we can do to change it, so it's what can we do that's positive. Yeah,
it's true. That's why we have to do it like together, like all the people around the world. We have to do it together, because if it's only some community or it's like some country, it will not work.
Yeah. How's your family? Everybody okay?
Everybody okay, but
Good.
I was quite like paranoid because I was in Bali 4 weeks ago, and then suddenly I got like sore throat, and then at that night I got shiver, and I was thought like, maybe am I? But it turns out just a fever, like just regular fever.
Just a normal fever.
Just normal fever.
And they're around. They're still around.
So
it's good to see you. Very good to see you.
Yeah. So this now there's like 400 people are watching now.
Hi everybody.
Yeah. So hey. So this is DMC. Yeah, I already played your video before. Because some of my fans, there are like magician and non-magician, and some of non-magician probably didn't know you, so I play your video, your first TV shows, the Beyond Magic, right?
Beyond Magic, yeah.
Beyond Magic in National Geographic, and then I tell story about you, that how we met, and then I play your latest shows, the
Death by Magic.
Death by Magic, yes, Death by Magic, and I play some of your. So because I want people to know you, because I admire before we met, I admire your show, the Beyond Magic. I mean, it's excellent.
Thank you.
And I want people, like especially my fans, to know you as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was Beyond Magic was the first show. That was maybe 5-6 years ago. And that was I was very proud of that. Yeah, we did a lot of beautiful things. And then Netflix, and now we're just getting ready for the next big show, which obviously is now waiting. So we're now pausing. But it's going to be
for a TV or just,
TV. So it'll be similar, same, but completely different to those two shows. And it's an idea that I've had for maybe 7 years now, and it's always been my dream in magic to make this show. And I've said to someone, if I never make another show except for this show, we're all good. That's it. That's the only thing left that I really want to make, and then whatever happens, I can go and be a fisherman and I'll be okay, you know.
No. I think, from my opinion, magic is in your blood, because I saw your Instagram, and then I saw how you entertain people in India. I mean, it's like, it's not just a career, it's not just a hobby. I think it's like there's something else. Is
You
it?
know what? I think it comes down to why, and this is something that I talk about a lot, and I think it's very important for everybody to consider, is why you're doing anything, right? So whatever you do, what is the reason that drives you? What is the reason that when it's good makes you happy, but when you're bad, when things are going badly, it keeps you going? What's the thing that even when you make mistakes and you have a bad day, keeps you going forwards? What's that motivation? And for me, I was just when I was a kid, I was a very strange kid. I wasn't very happy for quite a long time, and magic was my happy place. Magic was what made me so happy. Magic, watching magic and reading about magic and practicing magic and all these incredible magicians. That was my happy place. And so now the idea that I could, you know, that there could be a little 10-year-old boy or girl who is maybe has difficulties or trouble or whatever it might be, and that they can watch my show or my videos, whatever it might be, and find some happiness in that. That's everything to me. So for me, it's the money, the numbers, the celebrity, all of this is like, it can be a bonus, it can not be a bonus for some people. It's just not, it's not what's interesting to me. It's not what's interesting about why I do this, you know. The dollars.
It's interesting. Interesting you brought this the topic, because last night I had a conversation also with Indonesian magician, and then there's a question about that, the same question. I mean, there's a magician out there that willing to do magic for money. So they mean like money is everything. So sometimes they just like post some video on YouTube just to get a viewer, so they can get AdSense, like money from it. But they just like reveal like some of the secrets just to get that attention, just to get a clickbait, and then they watch the shows, and then, but then again, it's not the art of magic. And then you brought that topic, and it was like, yeah, but maybe some of people think like your way, but some other things like, hey, I do magic because I need money.
Yeah, but you know what? And I wouldn't say that one is more valid, because look, you know, some people have children and they need to make money for their children. Some people live and they need that money for a certain reason, or you know, it's like anything. It's like people who do comedy, or people who you know, some people who fix cars, right? You have car mechanics, and some people might be a car mechanic because they love engines and they love motors and they love to fix these beautiful cars. And then some people have 3 kids they need to make money for, and they need to feed their kids every day, and so they fix cars because they have a talent for that. And I think you see it in magic. You see some people, it's money and it's numbers, it's being famous, maybe, whatever it might be. I don't think it's necessarily any one is more or less valid. It's personal to you, and there will be limits, you know, what you do in order to get what you want. There should be, you know, I'm sure, limitations on how far perhaps you might go to achieve that. But it's certainly very valid. You know, I guess at its root, for me, I love the feeling that magic generates for other people. But so ultimately, I'm doing it for a feeling for me, because I love the feeling that that magic gives other people. But if, you know, if people need money, or they desperately want to make lots of money, and maybe they do good things with the money, that can be valid. So it's, you know, I think it can be personal choice. It's not necessarily money hungry, doing anything, or just doing it for the art. You know, there's everything in between. There's all these different colors, and all things are possible, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Just like there's always a two-sided coins, right?
Yeah, yeah. And look, it'll go both ways. You know, I'm sure maybe at times you've done something and you look back and you go, oh, that was, you know, that was a very commercial.
Yeah.
I've done this where you, oh, this project or this one thing where, you know, so it's also very easy to pick one video and go, oh, this magician is always like this. But it's like, people could find things that I've done and say exactly, I'm sure, say that, you know, the same thing. So it's always much more complicated than just black and white, and he's always like this, and she's always like this.
It's true.
You know,
everyone has their own story in their life, right?
Yeah.
And about your TV shows, I want to ask, like, because some of my fans, they are like, please ask this to Drummond, like to DMC. Your looks, you have like suit and tie, but
Love
you're
suit.
doing street magic. Yeah, I mean, is it you, or is it the character that you create or you build?
It's probably half and I don't know, it's even half and half. I'm very comfortable. I prefer to be in a suit than a t-shirt, right? So I prefer to, I feel when I'm in a good suit, there's a feeling that I don't get if I'm in my pajamas, right? And if I go out somewhere, I want to feel confident. I want, you know, there's something that a very good suit gives you that is very hard to get. And, you know, shoes and you know, these little things, and not necessarily expensive. It doesn't mean to buy ridiculous expensive suits and I like things very well made. So you know, I perhaps lean into it more on television, but the truth is, you know, there'll be many days when I know maybe I don't have to, but I will wake up and put a suit on and go into town and be in a suit, because it's just, I'm naturally more comfortable like that, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I hope, so there's the guy named Brewok, is it? I'm gonna say it bahasa ya, if you don't mind. Brewok itu si Diga ya. Diga itu udah pertanyaannya ya. So the question, he sent the question. When I saw you DMC, I saw a unique persona unlike any other TV magicians. So my question, is it really you or you made it? So that's his question.
The persona.
The persona. Yeah. And then, so this is me, I'm asking you, who inspired you in magic? What brings you in magic? Is there any like late magician who inspired you to become like now you, or?
Yeah, do you know, I have inspirations within magic, influences outside of magic, but my greatest influences within magic are the human beings, right? The really beautiful human beings, because I don't get excited by a magician who's very skillful, but doesn't have, or, you know, you hear stories of people who are perhaps not particularly kind or generous or warm, but they're very, very good. And that for me is the opposite of what I you know, even if it's the simplest, let's say René Lavande, right? These conceptually simple pieces of magic, but as a in terms of what he represented, you know, his character, his demeanor, and everything in between. So, you know, Tommy Wonder, for example, this man of incredibly complicated methods and techniques, very skillful, but also just had a very warm, generous character. Del Rey is another one. I don't know if you guys know, I have a book here somewhere. Del Rey. Yeah.
Wow.
So do you know, so this Del Rey? It's an incredible book. And Del Rey was this, he was very undercover. He wasn't very known about within the world of magic. And there are very few videos. There's very little, there's some footage of him. So this is his name here, Del Rey.
Del Rey.
Right? And he just, like I said, there's a few videos of him, but there's very few. He didn't do much in the magic world, a little bit like me. He didn't go to conventions. He didn't sell lectures, but in these videos, he's just so organic and authentic. And when I was 15, I met Uri Geller, and I invited Uri Geller. Would everybody know Uri Geller, the man who bends spoons?
The magician knows, but some of them who is not, probably don't know.
Okay, so Uri Geller in the, I think 70s and 80s was this incredibly famous mind reader from Israel, very, very enigmatic, this magnetic character, and he didn't do tricks. And I met Uri, like I say, when I was 15, I invited him to my school, and he came. And meeting him was so powerful for me, because Uri, a lot of magicians are very casual, and then suddenly they do a trick and they click into Mr. Magic, and then they put it down, and then they relax. And Uri lives in this space. Just everything around Uri is magical and mysterious, and he has this energy and this mystique about him that's very, very unique. And I remember at the time thinking, I love that. When Uri does a piece of magic, it doesn't feel like I've been practicing this for a long time, and I'm gonna let me tell you these moves, and I'm gonna, I've written this script, and here's a trick. Uri just does something.
It's like already in him, right?
Yeah. And when he's doing, he might do something, and you don't even, suddenly you realize he's just done something, and it's not, he doesn't go, right, I'm gonna start a trick, I'm gonna take the cards out, I'm going to show, and then I'm going to finish the Uri. It's just always, there's always this magic around him. And I remember for me, that was very interesting. There's no on-off switch. And I remember at the time thinking it's a really beautiful way of being. Whereas some magicians, it's like, here's a trick. And then, like I say, they finish and they sort of relax, and then they do another trick. And there's just it feels authentically magical. Again, Del Rey was is another one. Tommy Wonder, even in the way that Tommy Wonder speaks. Richard Ross with his Chinese rings. You've ever seen? There's just an organic, beautiful. It just feels authentic. It just feels real. And I think sometimes magic feels very structured, and it's like, right, I'm going to start the trick, I'm going to finish the trick. I just, these people who just, even if they're not doing magic, there's something magical about them, Like I could listen to Tommy Wonder talk about anything. I could listen to Uri talk about anything. You could talk about René Lavant talking about poetry or whatever it might be. They're just naturally magical people. And the tricks are a bonus. But they retain a sense of magic even when they're not doing magic, and that for me, I think growing up was a big influence, just this idea of, it's, of course, what you do is important, but for me, I'm far more interested in who you are as a magician. I want to know about you. I want this magic to reflect, what are you about? This is very impressive, and it's very skillful, and it's very technically skillful, but I'm attracted to how you think and what you feel and your story and what drives you in that, all these things. The actual trick, it's very interesting, it's beautiful, it's a lovely routine, but I want to know about you. And people like Del Rey, Tommy Wonder, these people who were incredibly technical, but also they put time into themselves. And I always say this to young magicians, who want to look into growing as a magician. I always say you need to stop reading magic books, stop buying tricks, stop buying new gimmicks, find some books that are going to talk about you and and understand yourself and study yourself and what motivates you and what makes you excited and what makes you happy and what makes you sad and what touches you and what touches you emotionally. And these things are super important. And I think within magic, it just elevates everything. When you have a good piece of magic with a sense of story or character or whatever, then the whole thing is just lifted. And like I say, Uri Geller, he made a career from bending a spoon. You know, that was it. He took a spoon and he'd bend it, but it wasn't the trick. It was just that was what he did, but he was just so much more than that, you know? And I remember meeting him, and that was just, it blew my mind at the time, you know?
It's the same thing when I first saw Jeff McBride in person.
Right.
Yeah, he's also, he also, like, I'm more interested in how he treat magic and how his opinion and then how he what I'm saying, like exploring magic, it's more interesting rather than what he do.
Yeah.
And then his philosophy about magic, he makes magic just like his religion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so amazing. I mean,
he lives
in it. So we talk about magic is probably like 6 hours, and I was like, oh man, this guy is so amazing. I mean, I don't care about the tricks that he done, but I'm more interested in his way of thinking in magic. Because that is just like what you said before, that is the most important thing, because tricks we can learn everywhere, from anywhere, but how someone represent magic with his own character and his own belief is different. It's like you, like when first we met in Magic Life, everyone is carrying cards, but not you. You was like your suitcase and you have like linking ring. It's kind of unique, because at first I was like, why DMC is bringing linking ring? And then when you did a routine, like small routine, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. I mean, now what you said now is explain what you did before, because you express magic differently.
Do you know, there's a really interesting story which I think is very important for people to remember. I think particularly as a magician, because very often when you meet a magician, you literally meet them and they're like, and they put, and you're like, oh, okay, you're a magician. Okay, I understand you do magic. Okay, cool. But like, let's talk about you. Like, put the, you know, and this happens all the time. I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody, maybe at a convention, and they're like, yeah, sure. yeah, I'm listening. And I just want to say to them, like, let's be two human beings. Let's just forget tricks for now. And I think there was a time years ago, I sat next to this girl at a dinner party, and she was so interesting. She was this incredible character, and she traveled, and she just knew a lot of things about a lot of different areas of life. We had this very interesting conversation, and then she left. And at the end of dinner, a friend of mine said, oh, she's this incredible musician. She's a concert pianist, right? And she never mentioned this. She never mentioned music. And in my head, she was already very interesting. And I just suddenly had this whole new appreciation for she just didn't talk about it. She didn't sit there and say, whereas, look, a lot of magicians would sit down and go, I do card magic. That's the first thing, you know, or they put the cards down, or they're sat there shuffling and doing flourishes. And she didn't mention any of this. And suddenly my appreciation of her and her character and who she was so much higher. And I just, like I said, I think it's really important to not be 24/7 Mr. Magic, you know, because it's like, it's that cliche. It can be a little bit like that cliche of the cute girl at school who never develops, or who, you know, in the movie, who doesn't develop character because she's cute. So she just gets attention, and she doesn't need to develop her personality and her humor, and it can be a curse because everybody wants to be around you and talk to you just because you're good looking. And the same is true with magic. Magic is a very easy tool to get attention, but I think it can be dangerous to rely on that. I think it's very, very important. Sometimes you go somewhere and you don't talk about magic. You don't maybe leave the cards at home, and you're just you. And it's not always do a trick, do some magic, do this. And so that's, for me at a convention, like when I remember meeting you and your team, and we just spoke, and it wasn't like, hey, show me a trick. I'll show you a trick. Here, teach me this, teach me. It was, we connected on this human level. And I just think, again, for me, that's just more interesting than Demian has a really nice double lift, and he does this like coin switch that's just, that's wonderful. But it's great to speak to you about you and your life and your dreams and your family and your story and your background, and like that's for me what makes a real connection.
That's the real magic. It's quite interesting. So I think we have we met, and then we have almost the same perspective about this, because when I came to Magic Life also, and every convention, I never bring cards, or I never have things like magic things in my pocket, because I want to learn. I want to learn from your experience, learn from other magician experience, because I don't know, that is the most magical for me. Your journey is like when you have your first TV show, your second one, and then in LA we talk, and then we discuss about things, and we also discuss about TV shows, right? It's like the idea, and then it's much more, I don't know, much more interesting for me rather than showing you some tricks. Although I'm not good in card tricks, so so I'm just happy to listen everyone share about their magic journey.
I and maybe for some people they love the fingers, maybe for some people, and that, like I say, that can be completely valid. Just for me, the story, even in television, the story of the show for me is the most important thing. The reason, the story, the narrative. What am I learning about from this show? The tricks are a part of the show, but it's not, like a lot of shows, it's like, here's a trick, here's another trick, here's another trick, here's a big trick, we're all done. And it's the same thing. I try to really bring story, and, it's the sense of taking you somewhere that isn't just, here's some tricks, here's some tricks for some famous people, and then that's it. I think there's lots of that, and again, very valid, but it's trying to find that meaning with magic. Like I say, it's very easy to, someone years ago made the distinction between a stripper and a geisha. Is that how you say it? Geisha, right?
Yeah, geisha.
In the sense that a stripper just takes her clothes off, right? That's it. She just get naked and that's it. As a geisha, it's not just about visually seducing you, or it's the singing and they will make tea for you, and it's all of your senses are being seduced by this whole process. And I think magic, it's very easy because people have a very powerful reaction to something impossible. I think it's very easy. This was someone else's, it was another magician's concept, but I think it's very true. It's very easy to be a stripper. It's very easy to get naked and people go, wow. To impress people. It's much harder to slowly interest people and bring them in and take them on a story. And do you know what I mean? Have these other dimensions to it other than
This is
How do you do
interesting. I mean, I'm going to take a note about this because yeah, it's true. I mean, you can figure it out in a sentence. I mean, before it's hard for me to explain. I mean, not explaining, but I said, for example, between a magician who really put all his effort in the art itself rather than just the tricks. It's like when I saw there's a magician, he did like a juggling with balls, and he just get the ball from water. But the basic idea is making the ball appear one by one and making it disappear one by one. That simple. But the whole concept, the whole theater, I mean, the whole theatrical that he created, it was beautiful. I mean, it's just like a small waterfall on stage, and just like do a theatrical move from the water, and then he create ball, clear ball, and then another one.
It's Miguel Munoz, I think.
Miguel Munoz. I forgot his name.
I think I met him a few weeks ago. I met him in Madrid about 2 months ago. I think Miguel Munoz.
Wait, Shinlim just posted before, and I think
Miguel.
Yes, it's true. Yes, correct. Miguel Munoz. Yes.
Yeah. We met in Madrid about 2 months ago. He's incredible, and exactly that. You know, it's there's a sense of emotion there. You know, there's a sense of it's not just something impossible. There's something so much more human in that performance. And I remember going to FISM. Have you done FISM?
Well, I supposed to be in. No, I didn't go for FISM. I mean, like competing. No, never. But I supposed to be in. I supposed to be in FISM 2018, but it turns out 3 days before I fly to the Korea, it turns out my passport is already expired, so I didn't go.
Yeah, okay. So I was there. It's the only FISM I've done in was it Seoul, Korea, and it was just incredible to see the magic with them. There was so much magic with emotion. It was so these people who have crafted a 10-minute routine for 4 years. 4 years, and they've put everything into this 10-minute act, and you can just, even just with the water and the balls, you just and he's saying nothing. He's not doing it. He's not speaking to you. But there's just so much to that. It's not just impossible, but it's beautiful and it's emotional. And there were 2 moments that week when I started crying. There were 2 acts. That was one of them, and the other one was, I forget the magician, but he with the sand. Have you ever seen that? With the
and then he make the sands vanish like half the linking ring, right?
Yeah, it's the ring, but then suddenly he makes it disappear,
vanish. Yeah,
and then the sand, the water, I forget, but it was so emotional. I started crying, and that is, it's technically incredible, but it's emotionally beautiful as well. You know, it's not just here's something that you don't understand. No, here's something you don't understand, but also there's a lovely quote about, it's not a case of doing magic so well that people don't understand what you're doing. It's about doing magic in such a way that they don't even care how you're doing it, right? The method is just irrelevant. It's you know, it's not really that important. And you know, magicians very often, the secret is the most important thing, and I want to protect this, and it's everything. And if someone understands how I do this trick, then it means nothing, and that it's worthless. And I'm sort of the opposite. I'm very happy to, not thousands of people, but if someone wants to understand something, I'm very happy to explain small pieces of it. It's not that important to me. I don't defend, if it's somebody else's work, of course, then you must protect that. But this paranoia that methods are everything in magic just seems to me not, they're important, they're a part of it, but it's not that important. You know, it's like when you go to watch a movie and you're just trying to work out all the special effects. It shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't care about the green screen or the special effects or the CGI, or it's not important. And magic needs to be the same thing. Of course, there's bits of this going on, secret things happening, but you don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know,
just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Yeah.
And Miguel
like,
is the example. You know, it's
yeah,
like you're not sat there trying to see what he's doing. You're just, this is so powerful. This is so emotional. This is so beautiful. You know.
but not all people can be like that. I think only like some people, because in Indonesia, in my country, like probably most of people here, they tend to want to know the secret and try to track where the secret is, and just hoping that the magician do some flaws, and rather than
but you know what,
they watching what,
you know, my theory, I have a theory about this. I have a theory that it's our fault as magicians that people are like this. I think it's like, let's say a tiger, right? Or whatever the animal, I forget which animal, it's like a bear or a tiger, where if you stand there, there are some animals in the wild where if you stand still, or is it a snake, where they don't see you and they won't attack you. But if you run, they're going to come after you, right? I think maybe it's a snake. If you're standing still, they're just going to come past you and that's it. But if you start running, they're going to go for you. And I sort of feel like we as magicians, we make such a big deal out of the secrets, and no, everything is about it just doesn't matter. And I think if we as magicians just stop caring so much about this, we make it so important. And I'm sure you've been with someone and they say, how does this happen? And maybe when you were younger, you go, oh, it's just this. And they go, oh, I thought it was much more incredible. And they're so disappointed. And it's like, well, that's the honest, I mean, that's just, so we as magicians, we're all standing guard so often around this empty box. And when you open up the box and you go, no, here's the secret. And people go, I think it's on us as magicians, where it's like, yeah, look, it's a part of this. Again, in the same way that how a movie is made. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's not everything. And if people who did CGI or stunt moves suddenly became very protective of their secrets, then of course you want to understand, there's a human interest and curiosity. But if you just go, it's like this, but it's not that interesting, I think people would just go, but I really like, it was beautiful, and the trick and the this, and there's other things to talk about. So I don't know if that makes sense. So just the idea that if we stop running as magicians and we go, yeah, I don't want to tell you, but it's just not a big deal. You know, if we stop making a big deal out of it, I think a lot of people would be less interested, because you and I know a lot of these secrets just aren't that interesting. They're like, oh, that's very beautiful, but it's not that interesting. It's not more interesting than the trick, you know? I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah. Wow. For me, I never heard magician just telling me like this way, because now it's opened my mind. That's supposed to be what happened. I mean, what's supposed to be us doing that kind of thing. I mean, make the secret is not that too important, just like what you say, because it's probably it's almost the same thing when you like doing, when we talk about magic. When you do something like make the coin vanish, we have to believe it, that it's real vanish, so the people can feel that, oh, it's real. So the feel that you create, it's contagious. Like you make them to believe, you have to believe it your first.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same thing like what you said before. Maybe because we magician make the secret is very big deal for us, so the audience will think, okay, I have to know the secret.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think so. I think, and look, you know, when people come out of a magic show, they go, oh, how did he do this? And how did he do? Imagine coming out of a movie and they're like,
yeah, it's like,
how did they do this explosion and this fight scene? How did they put this together? And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like what this wasn't this, oh, and this moment when this happened and this clever bit of twist, or that's amazing. Let's talk about that. But you don't have this with movies. And, you know, it's like for a lot of people, they watch a magic show or they watch something on TV and they just talk about the method. And I just, like I say, the goal should be to make something where it's not zero, but it's not that important. I would prefer people to talk about the story or this amazing person that I talk about, or the life of this man or this woman, or the story of how this trick developed and became. That to me is more interesting than just going, I want to lift it up and look inside and break it all down. And, you know, but like I say, I think that's on us. I think it's like, you know, sometimes when you have a parent and a young child, I'm sure you've seen this, you know, when a baby falls over, and sometimes when a baby falls over, they look around to see who saw them. And if nobody's looking, they'll just stand up and carry on, right? But sometimes if a baby falls over and the mother goes, oh God, are you okay? What's the, you know, then suddenly the baby starts crying. And it's, you know, like I said,
I understand. Understand. It's true.
If we don't make it a big deal, which I just don't think it is. I just don't think it is that it's not that interesting to me. I don't think it's that it's interesting to you. The nuts and bolts of how you make this happen, I don't think it's that interesting to other people. But if we go, no, nobody's allowed into this club and this is my secrets and no one's allowed to look in my secrets, then of course people want to break it down, you know?
Wow, thank you for sharing this to me.
I don't know. You're welcome. I don't know if it's, I don't know if maybe I'm wrong to many people, but that's just how I feel. It's just, there's a lot more to a piece of magic to appreciate than how. And if people are asking, if the first question people are asking is how, then I think that's a problem. But it's a problem that we create. There should be more things to talk about. There should be more dimensions to a piece of magic than just the fact that it's impossible. You know?
Wow, this is very, 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 it's like something new, although already new, but you describe it very clear. So I hope the fans also here, the fans that watching us also can learn that it's not about the method. It's about, let's talk about things that is about the more human, just like what you said, right?
Yeah, let's tell a story. You know, let's you know, it's, I mean, it kind of comes into this. So I don't know, I must send you some of these. Have you ever seen this? Have I sent you this before?
Yeah.
So to me, so this is, have I sent you, have you seen these? So this
I know, but yeah, your newest one, right?
Yeah, so we released these about a year ago, and it's a deck that it's a letter deck. That's all it is, right? So instead of normal cards, it's letters. And what this allows in terms of emotional releases, it's just so much more powerful. It's so much, you know, and you know, a lot of the time you say, what is your card? And they say it's the 4 of clubs, and you go, here's the 4 of clubs. And you go, yeah, okay, it's interesting. I wonder how you did that. But it's a random 4 of clubs. I mean, it's not like I'm connected to the 4 of clubs. Whereas if, I don't know, if, for example, let me try this. So just as an example, if, so let's say we shuffle these up, and I show you. So it's, like I said, it's 52 cards, but they're all letters. And D, if I shuffle, you say stop.
Stop.
We go the first one. We go again.
Stop.
We go here. We go as long as you like.
Stop.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
if you want to carry on, if you want to carry on.
No.
Happy? Yeah.
Happy.
We do one more.
Stop.
Sure.
Sure.
Happy. Now
I'm
these are
happy,
where
happy.
you said stop. All right. So this is what's very, very interesting. You don't know why you said stop, but you said stop at these exact places. And some are larger and some are smaller, but all random, right? So usually I do this with a group of people standing around, and I'd show the first card. I don't know if you can see this.
Why? Yeah, it's why.
And I'd say, think of somebody who's important to you. I'd say, think of somebody in your, before, I'd say in your head, be thinking of someone who's very connected to you, whoever that might be. You don't know why you said stop here, but you felt connected to these cards. And then we have this, right?
Oh no, yeah.
And then we have this. And we have this.
Wow.
Right? And it's kind of backwards. Let's do this. But suddenly,
Yeah. Now I
suddenly
get it.
this
Yeah.
is,
There's like some emotional happening inside. Yeah.
And so suddenly this isn't like, if this was 4 aces, you go, oh, it's very nice. But when you look at this, it's so,
Yeah.
there's an emotion to that.
By the time the letter shows S, I was starting to think that, is it? And then you said, think of someone that is more important. And I was like, oh damn, please. And then and then the second letter is A. I was like, yeah.
So as a super simple example, the method to, you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It feels really, but if that was like 4 aces, you go, oh, okay, it's kind of interesting. It's maybe skillful, but it doesn't make me feel. And this, the possibilities, trying to really connect with someone. So that's, I think that, when you can involve something personal, something more.
God
emotional.
damn, you're so brilliant, man.
Thank you.
No,
I'll send you some of these that so powerful. So powerful.
Please do give sign.
What's that?
Signature.
Yeah, of course.
Just sign it for me.
I'll send you a few. Send you a few of these.
So, okay. Yes, now I can see how you try to express magic, and then with your own point of views. For me, that kind of tricks, that simple tricks do create a connection. That simple trick now has a meaning. Not just like, hey, I'm good at cards, I can do this, I can do that, but it eliminate how it's done. It eliminate the sleight of hand, because by the time the name shows, it was like, how you know that's his very special.
But also maybe 1% of your brain is thinking, oh, how did that happen? But most of you go, I don't care. I just don't. That's, wow. I'm looking down. I'm seeing her face. I'm thinking of Sarah. You're connecting all these emotions to these random cards.
And it's bring like a time leap. So I have a vision. I have like her picture in my mind, and suddenly she's like anything. I mean anything could happen by the time that name came up on the tricks. I can imagine when someone is when he or she is thinking of his father or her mother that already passed away. I mean, probably he or she will be in tears.
No, in fact, the first time I did this for one of my closest friends who lost his father. And I did it slightly differently. I gave him the cards, and he was shuffling the cards, and he was putting little piles together. And he ended up with one small pile of cards. And I said, turn it over. And it was his father's name. And he literally stood up and he walked away. And it was because we always talk about his father. He was very close to his father and he lost his father. And it was so beautiful for him. It was this, you know, this connection, such a powerful connection. And then afterwards, I showed the packet and I put the packet down. And then after 1 minute, I asked him to pick up the packet and deal the cards. And it was now his mother's name, you know, and he's very close to his mother. And it was so powerful. And again, it's hard. I think it's hard to reach that unless it's a gambler or somebody plays card. For most people, it's hard to really emotionally connect to the 7 of diamonds. It's really hard, you know?
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult.
Nope.
And
I don't know. No.
So, you know, I think another thing to consider, it's just my take on it. I think a lot of magic sits in one of 3 circles, right? It's either a puzzle. So I go, oh, I wonder how you did that, right? Or it's number 2 is technically skillful. So when you do a piece of magic, and a lot of card magic is like this, where you do something and someone say, wow, that's how long did you practice for this? So it's skillful. It's technically impressive, right? They say, gosh, you must practice all the time. That's very, wow, you know, flourishing, for example. And then the 3rd circle is magical. And that's for me what Uri Geller taught me, where I'm not trying to work it. You're just, wow, that's so powerful. And I think it's, again, for some people, magic and card magic is all about skill, whatever it is, technical precision and my fingers. And I'm not going to say very much, but just watch, you know, raise your eyes or whatever it is, you're going to see the card. It's very skillful. And for some magic, it's going to be a puzzle, like, I don't know, Magic Square, something like this, you know? But then you have something like this, or Chinese rings. If the Chinese rings are done, it's so magical. It's so magical. And it's not skillful. It doesn't look skillful. When someone just takes 2 rings,
slowly,
and then it's just, you're not going to say to them, wow, that must have taken you many years, or you just think that's magical. And yeah, again, going back to Uri, I think that's what Uri Geller really taught me, was the power of things just being magical, you know. And very, very often, if it looks skillful, it feels less magical. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
It's more impressive, but it can be often less magical, because you're, like I said, you're impressed, but you're not magically amazed by it, you know? You just appreciate, wow, that must have taken you so long to practice. But it's not,
it's eliminate the, what do you call it?
Wonder.
The connection and the wonder,
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I want to read some comments, and probably like some of them want to ask you something.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna say it in Bahasa, so
Sure.
I'm sorry. And it's like, yeah, some of my friends here is like, they said like, damn, your philosophy is so good.
Thank you.
And then this guy named Krishna Patibayu say this is magic. I mean, real magic. And Hedi Saf said beautifully emotional.
Thank you. Well, I think emotion is the goal. It shouldn't be confusion. I don't want to confuse you. I want you to look down and see Sarah, or I want you to feel the danger, or what, you know. I think as best we can, again, my opinion, I don't want to impress you or puzzle you. I want you to feel something, you know.
Yeah, that's the point. Basically, that's the point for me, why I'm doing magic, because if it's by doing magic, I can touch someone or I can make someone feel something. That is more like, there's more than just a trick for me. I mean, it's something else. By seeing them happy, by seeing them not puzzling my tricks, it's like give me the strength, or give me the power. It's like I feel happy also. It's like it charged me.
I think for most people, the reason you do magic is how magic made you feel as a child, right? The first time you watched magic, yeah, it was very impressive, but it made you feel something. It made you feel something that nothing else made you feel. Not even music, not movies, not poetry. Magic made you feel something. And I know for me, I know for a lot of magicians, the goal is to recreate that feeling for other people.
Yeah, that's true. It, correct.
Right?
Correct.
And it's not a puzzle. It's not to puzzle you, or it's that feeling when you were 7 or 10 or whatever you were, when you first saw good magic, and you went to bed, and you went to bed,
get the feeling, right?
Yeah, and you dreamt about this amazing magic, this this trick, and you read about him or her, and for the next 2 months, all you talked about to your mother and your father was magic. You were like this and then this, and you wanted to buy little tricks. That it filled your brain with so many things.
Yeah,
and
it's like the topic of the day.
Yeah, for months. So I think I'm sure, I know for you, I know for some magicians, that was so powerful, and that made me happy when I was sad. It brought me up when I felt down. It gave me focus when nothing else was interesting. It gave me discipline. The thought that there will be people who follow you, who watch you, who love your magic, who one day will say, Demian, I watched Demian the first time and I knew I was going to be a magician, and it's given me so much in my life. And there are already people, there are already 10-year-old boys and girls or 15-year-old boys and girls who literally saw you one day and they had that feeling. Hundreds of children. And I don't think there is much more to hope for in life than that, passing on that feeling in whatever it is, if it's movies or music or whatever that inspiration is. To, inspiration, I always say there are 3 stages to inspiration. You absorb inspiration from somebody else, often when you're a child. You then use that inspiration as fuel, right, as energy, and you practice. And then one day, after many years, you give that inspiration to someone else, and it all starts again, and then they take it, and it's like this torch, this flaming torch that someone gives you, and then you hold it, and then one day you give it to someone else, and then they hold it, and in 50 years they give it to, and that I think that's what to aim for,
The legacy.
Yeah.
So there's I'm gonna open a question for my fans here. So there's a question. So I have a question for him. How long he practiced in focus on magic?
So I was 8 when I started. I was 8 when I first started, and then it's been ever since, really. I never stopped.
Wow.
Never.
See itu. Ya udah dari since you are 8, right?
8, yeah.
8.
Yeah. I'll show you this. So do you know Davenport's magic? Do you know Davenport's magic?
No.
So it's very sadly, it's just closed in London, but it was the oldest magic shop in the UK, more than 100 years old. 1898, it first started. And my father bought, this is the catalog. So this has all the tricks. And I bought this when I was 8, this book. And I just memorized. You can see it's like, it's all falling, like all the pages are coming out. But yeah, I bought this.
That is the exact book you bought.
Exactly. It has all my notes here, has all these little like drawings and little like things here. You can see how like old it is. But yeah, when I was 8, I bought this and I memorized everything, every trick in here. And yeah, you can see here, I would like list what I wanted to buy. I was like, okay, this is £3, and I will save up my money to buy this thing. So yeah, this is when it started, and then obviously all of this.
Yeah. And then there's a question from Destino. He asks, any new upcoming playing cards you've been working on? I like all the deck you create and design with Phil, including the DMC V3 and V4. Yeah. And the new alpha decks. What an amazing deck. So any upcoming?
So yes, with Phil, we've made these. This is one of our decks called the Elites, which we made together. It's a beautiful deck, just with this very powerful, I can probably say, marking system, right? So magicians will know what that means. It's just a very, very powerful system. So this is the deck. It's what it looks like, but has all kinds of special things. The alphas, this is the letter deck, which is just, like I say, my number one. It's so powerful. This we're about to release. We just, with everything going on, I didn't want to be selling, so we're not selling these for now. We're just holding back. I don't think it's the right time to be selling playing cards. But this is our new deck. It's called Sharks. So this was a deck years ago. So 2012, this was the first deck that I ever did with Phil. This was our first collaboration. And now this is an updated version of that. So this is the old deck and this is the new deck.
It's like the prototype or the first one?
No, this is 2012 and this is the new deck. So this is the new cards, which we will be releasing just once everything, once everything gets better again. So it's just it's a regular deck, but it's a tribute to our very first deck that we made together. So it's just a very beautiful deck.
So what if, I don't know if you would agree or not, what if we choose one question, that the best question that given to you, and then you choose one and you give the deck and sign it? Which one do you want to sign?
Yeah, so because I've started making these as well. So this is I've started making these leather wallets, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is what I make now. I've been making a load of these the last few weeks.
Okay.
With all this lockdown. So this I've started making. So what I was thinking is we can do a competition.
your own? No, right?
I what?
You're not making. Did you make it?
No, I make
own?
these. I make these. No, I make these myself.
Really?
Yeah.
You're really quite handyman.
Well, it's just it's there you go. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
So I can put someone's initial here, whatever their initial is. So yeah, we can. Why don't we do that? Let's do this. I could send one of these and one of these. I don't know what the competition is, but I don't know if the post is working now, but when it's open, I can send one of these.
Okay, I'm going to say in bahasa, okay?
Sure.
Okay, ya nih, jadi ada there's a two DMC creation. It's like a pocket, yeah. It's like some kind of like.
It's just a wallet. It's like a regular, like for this.
Yeah, itu dompet dan satunya lagi his latest deck of cards. So I'm asking him to, as a gift for you who's giving the best question, and I'll be choosing one, or probably like I will choose 5 of them, and then Drummond will choose one. Oh, I mean choose 2. Satu orang akan mendapatkan kartunya ditandatangan with his sign, dan satu lagi akan mendapatkan dompet. Jadi ayo tulis pertanyaan yang bagus yang bisa nanti gue pilih. Gue akan pilih 5, nanti Drummond will choose 2. So there's gonna be like 2 winners.
Yeah,
Like
we
2
can do that.
winners.
We can do both. So, like I say, it can be a credit card or it can be like a packet trick. Yeah. But yeah, I have lots of these. I have lots of these, so we can do one of these and the same again for someone else.
Oh, really? Wow,
yeah.
You're so very,
I'm very
generous.
I can send you one. I have lots of these, Demian. I have lots of time, so I made about 10 of these.
Wow!
The last few days.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
No,
so
my
much.
pleasure. No, of course.
Okay, so so
what are we saying? The best question?
Now we're going. I'm going to give you like 5 best question from my point of view, or
Okay.
probably like I will choose like some question, and then you will choose who is the winner, who is the most the best question from your end. So this is the first question from Darius Drew. His question is, I saw you in Death by Magic, and it seems that India is the place that's special for you, for your magic encounter. What happened back there?
Okay, so we do it one by one?
Yeah, one by one.
Okay, so India for me is just, it's very hard for me to explain, but I fell in love with India when I was 18, and I went to Delhi, and I traveled in India for 3 months. And I think it just came into my life at the right moment, the right time. And I just love, it's a crazy place. It's a beautiful place. The energy and the colors and the people and the smiles and just so much to love about India. So and magic, this incredible history of magic. So where we filmed for Netflix is a place called Udaipur in Rajasthan. And that was where I used to go. I used to go many years ago, and it's so beautiful. It's very old, classical India, and yeah, it's a magic. India is a magical place in so many ways. So I like to go back as much as I can.
Yeah, it's, if I'm mistaken, you said back then when we met, you said it's like your second home.
Yeah, if I don't need to be somewhere, then I'll go to India. If I don't need to be in London then I'll just go to Mumbai normally.
So basically, where is your basis? London?
So this is my house. I mean, this is my home in London, and I have these. This is my collection. So this is every deck that I've used for the last 15 years or so. This is where I live, but I travel like I say, if I don't need to be here, then I'll just be traveling somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, and then second question. I think DMC already answered this. The question is, what is more important than magic itself? You already answered that before, right?
Yeah, it's difficult than magic. What is more important? What is more important than the secret, or what is more important than magic?
Than the magic.
I mean, I think the most important thing is how you feel. That's it. I've
like how the magician felt or the audience feel.
Well, if you don't, I mean, it's a big discussion. No, I think everything
make it short.
Everything needs to start with you being at peace and finding your finding your balance in life. That is the number one thing. There is no point. Look, I'm sure, Demian, I'm sure you've met very rich, successful, famous magicians who are very, very unhappy, right?
Yeah.
Or just people, rich, successful, famous people who are very, very unhappy. And what's more important than magic or whatever it's going to be, getting married or going to university or whatever the big choices are, what's more important than all of this is how you feel. Because if you're unhappy with the choices you've made, nothing is worth it. It's not worth being the most famous, this or rich or whatever, if you don't feel. There's a beautiful, do you know Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
So Tony Robbins says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, right? So this is not really answering the question, but just what's above everything is how you feel. And there's a man called Tom Bilyeu who has a very good podcast called Impact Theory. And he says how he measures success is how he feels about himself when he's alone in a room, right?
Yeah, because at that time, that's the only me, like the only me facing my own self, myself, right?
So what's more important than magic? The most important thing in everything. There's no point in being famous if you're not fulfilled and happy. There's no point in being married if you're not happy and fulfilled. There's no point in being anything.
Yeah.
Having 10 million Instagram followers or whatever is important to you, if you're not happy and fulfilled. And so it, generally, no matter what it is that you're chasing, you just have to make sure that it's always in line with you being the happiest and the most balanced version of you. Because if you're not happy, people around you aren't happy. If you're not balanced and the best that you can be, then the work that you do won't be the best it can be. So the most important thing is to get yourself to the very, very best place. And then from that, you can have the most beautiful relationships, the most beautiful career, the most beautiful everything. But without it, nothing means anything,
Yeah. Wow, I think we have the same perception about that, because for me, the first thing in life is happiness.
Yeah.
What's the point if I do something, if I have like a good career, but if I'm not happy, what's the point? It's like that, right?
Yeah. And you
so
can't
it's another.
There's a lovely quote about you can't give to other people what you don't already possess, right? So you can't give, it's not possible to make other people, to give love to other people, to give support to other people, to give happiness to, if you don't have it within you, right? So no matter what you do, magic or music or whatever career choice, you have to start with you being the best, the happiest, the most at peace, and then everything flows.
Comes along, Okay, next question. From Perry Good. After all of your achievement, have you ever planned to retire or stop doing magic?
I haven't, not retiring. I'd always like for magic to be a part of my life. I don't think I want to be doing tricks forever. I like the idea that things are changing and flowing and developing. And in fact, like I say, this next television show it's not pure magic. It's not a magic show. It's not just about the magic. It's about something, I think, much bigger, much more important. So, I don't want to be I would like to grow beyond just a magician doing magic tricks. And I don't know the exact direction. I'd always like for magic to be a part of my life, but I don't think I'm going to be doing, card tricks forever. They'll be a part of it, but not the whole story.
Maybe you're going to be in India doing yoga.
Yeah, maybe.
Namaste.
Yeah. Well, India's part of the plan. You know,
Yeah.
it's I'd like to be there more.
So there's just a comment from Roy Lokang. He said that I don't want to ask any question, but can you please tell DMC that thank you very much for sharing this meaningful and deep conversation.
Oh, thank you. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helpful. I just, I think it's important to talk about some of these things that in magic are not always talked about. It's always about tricks and new gimmicks and it's there's that, the Royal Roads card magic. Do you know that book?
Royal Road card magic, yes. I
Royal
think
Road
that's my
card
first, yeah.
Right.
That is
It's
my
most
first
people's
card,
first
yeah.
book. But there's that I think it's in the Royal Road at the beginning in the introduction. There's that story between a young magician and the old master. And the young magician says, oh, how many tricks can you do? Because I think I can do a few hundred tricks. And the old master says, oh, I think I can do maybe 12 or 15. And that's the idea that I know it's very tempting in magic to learn the next trick and the next trick and the next prop and the next gimmick and the next DVD and the next download. But it's very, very important to stop and to read these other areas that will give your magic so much more than just, like I say, these people at conventions who just want to learn the next trick and the next, and it's important to have that, but also balance with books and ideas and these conversations that have the conversations that we have that have nothing to do with
about magic,
fingers,
So, and then there's okay, this is from Jova Sago. He asks, what is the important thing when it comes to a magic show?
A live magic show, or
yeah, probably like live and also TV shows, probably.
Like I said, I think it's just a feeling. It's just an emotion. I want, for me, the most important thing is to move beyond just, this is a puzzle. How do you do this? I want for an audience to come on a journey and learn about an amazing man or woman, the story of this trick or whatever it might be. It's a little bit beyond, how does this work? For me, that is the goal, that it's magic is a vehicle for something bigger, more important, more relatable, more connecting, more emotional. It's not just, here's a trick and here's a trick with a, whatever it's going to be, a fork, and here's a trick with an elastic band, and then here's a, that there's a story to it. For me, storytelling and magic have always been very important, super important, particularly on television, where there's a lot of just magic. I think for me, there's just important to have that other dimension, whatever that is, that it's magic and something.
So it's probably like, first you have to have the story itself first, and then you get the tools by the props and everything, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think you start with why. Start with, what's the feeling I want to make? What's the purpose behind this? And the tricks in many of the shows that we do, the tricks are the last things that we start with. What is the story? What is the episode? What are we focusing? What are we telling? What's the tricks and the methods? We come to, that's almost the last piece of the puzzle. Because just again, for me, my approach is that the magic is of course a big part of it, but it's the story for me is what I want to really focus on. These incredible people and their life stories, and for Netflix, it was how these incredibly brave people and how they their life stories and what they went through, and let's celebrate that, and let's use magic as a way to do that. But we're going to start with their story, and then we're going to work out the tricks that make sense. So the tricks are part of it, but it's maybe not the starting point, you know?
Okay. And I also want to say thank you for making my sense torture look so beautiful in your
Making your
television.
what?
My sense torture, my act.
Oh yes, well no, of course, thank you for that.
I mean, it's an honor for me because you made it like look so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. It's, well, I remember seeing it. It was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful concept. And yeah, the misdirection, everything about it was so perfect. And that episode, the episode we had in London, it all made sense. And we were very grateful. Thank you for letting us use it.
It's an honor for me. It's an honor for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so another question from Aaron Nathaniel, say how to create story for magic and the routine from your end.
How to make a story.
Yeah, how to make story and the routine. I mean, if you create magic, you have to have like both, like the story and then the routine. Probably you can tell them how you create your tricks. I mean, your routine with the presentation and everything.
I think it depends. Obviously, it depends on the project, it depends on the trick. But my guiding light is always, if I was 15 or if I was 10 or even now, what would I want to watch, right? Do I want to watch, you know, as we've said, something technically impressive? Do I want to learn something that really makes me think about whatever it might be? I want to start with the end, start with the feeling that the trick leaves you with, and then work backwards. So there's this thing in magic. I'm sure you had this. You know, when you started magic and you learn a move, and then you go, oh, how could I use this move in a trick? And then you go, oh, okay, I could do this. Okay, so you go from the method, and then you go up from the method. Whereas at a point, so it's like music. When you learn the piano or the guitar or whatever it is, you learn a chord, and then you go, okay, how can I use this G chord or this D chord, whatever it is? How can I use this and this? How can I? So you go up, right? But then there's a moment when you can play the guitar very well, and you go, no. I want to write a song that makes me feel like this. And okay. So then you work backwards. So you start with the idea and the feeling, and then you go, okay, we're going to do this and this. So the same thing with a piece of magic. I go, okay, what's interesting to me? What is it, something that I would want to watch or listen to or be involved in? Okay, you know, for example, the name of someone that somebody loves, the name of somebody's child or husband or father or whatever it is. Okay, how can I use magic to bring in the name of someone that you love? Okay, let's think about this. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could make a deck like this. Oh, we could, you know, do this sequence. And so I think maybe in simple terms, starting at the end and then working backwards. You know, what is it that is interesting to you? What is it that you want to read about?
Yeah.
And make that.
Yeah, but probably for some people, they prefer the backward. I mean, the trick first and then get the story.
Yeah. It can go both ways. It can absolutely go both ways. But for me, that's my process, is starting at the end and then coming back.
Yeah. For me also, basically I try to express how I feel at that time.
Yeah.
And when I feel like I'm missing someone, it's like when I miss Sarah, and sometimes I create a routine where make her picture appear, and then suddenly how I feel at that time. So I express, and then the tricks and then the method comes second.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. So, and then last questions come. Oh yeah, so there's a question here from my community, said that you shoot one of your special in Indonesia.
No, we shot my first ever special was in Card Shark, was in Bangkok, We shot some in Singapore for Beyond Magic. Those are the only two. I've done small bits. I was filming in Bali. I came to Bali last summer, and
Yeah,
we did
but sorry, I cannot join because we already chat, and then I cannot join you because
I
had a
know.
job. I have a,
But I haven't done. But that was small filming. I haven't done any big projects yet in Indonesia.
it's a small filming for your TV shows, or
Just for Instagram. We were visiting. We went to this beautiful orphanage in Bali, and just started doing magic for the kids, and just made a little video with that. It was just a very sweet day.
I thought this is when you're one of your special.
No, I didn't. Nothing yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Okay, so another one. We just like choose another one.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
book non-magic you read and influence how you think and how you see the world?
Okay, so actually, I can give you a handful.
Okay.
Okay, so these are some of what I'm reading. So I think this man is incredible, Osho. He was an Indian guru, very, very just beautiful philosophies, beautiful ways of looking at the world. So Osho, there are lots of videos on YouTube people can find. He was just very, very beautiful way of seeing the world. This is one of my favorites. This is my #1 book. It's not a very big book, but just beautiful story, beautiful philosophy. You can see this. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. This is very, very good. The Untethered Soul. This is a beautiful, again, it's not very big, but looks at the human soul, sort of freedom of the soul. It goes into all kinds of things, but again, just a beautiful book. It maybe sounds a bit hippie, but this is one of my favorite books. Yeah, that's about it of these ones. But I think for anyone, these kinds of books, in terms of being happy or feeling good within yourself, nobody does this by luck, right? And I think it's so important that there is nobody who is happy for an extended period of time that hasn't studied happiness or learned about, in the same way that nobody is very, very healthy and in shape unless they've really learned and studied and applied how to be healthy and how to look after yourself and how to eat properly and how to exercise properly. And the brain is exactly the same. And it's just something that I would always say to everybody, that these kinds of books are just so important to, again, Osho is amazing. This, I think everybody should read. This is just a very powerful, it's a beautiful book, but many more books like this, learning about happiness and fulfillment and being at peace. And I've always been there's a lot of not very good books in this space. There's a lot of, very cheesy titles and whatever, but there are some beautiful books. And if people, if you want to learn how to be happy and how to make your life what you want it to be, then there are books that will help you get there. And they won't give you the answer, but they won't get you there, but they will help you get there. And I'm a huge believer in reading around this sort of thing.
So it's like showing the door, and then after you already have the door,
exactly that.
You choose your own pathway.
This is very beautiful. So this man, Eckhart Tolle, he wrote a book called The Power of Now, which is, again, one of my top 5 books. So The Power of Now here, author of The Power of Now. Yeah. This is one of his other big books. just beautiful. Just the way of thinking about happiness and suffering and the ego and